what was your approach with guys who were in this draft who had kind of an injury history?
A lot of due diligence. We've been very lucky the last 4 years, Jason, to have Chris Stackpole working with us. His diagnostic skills have been incredible. He's very aggressive. He's probably more bullish on the effects of PT over surgery and isn't as scared away by injury histories as someone would be just basically basing it on an MRI or an image. But this was an interesting group. I think this group on the whole, probably across the board, was the highest character group. Like there were far less questions as a group on issues of character and off-court behavior, but probably more questions about high-impact guys and previous injury conditions. So it's something we did our due diligence on. I can tell you we didn't leave anybody on the board because of injuries tonight. We took the 2 best players we could get, and that was absent any injury concerns for other players. That didn't affect us. It didn't get to that point for us, I guess is the best way to say it.
And obviously, depending on what you do with Tim and Pat, I mean, you're one over on the roster right now.
No, we're even now.
Oh, you're even? 15?
Yeah. So we came into the night with 13 guaranteed contracts, or so 12 guaranteed contracts. Pat on a non-guaranteed till the end of July, and then 2.
I'm counting.
And then 3. Yeah, exactly. And then we had the 3 picks turned into 2. Yeah. So as of right now, we've got 15 with Pat. We've got 16 with Tim.
Right.
The 17-man deal, is that going to go through, or has that been?
Well, no, it's a 2-way contract. It is a little bit different. I could have the cap guy, talk to you guys about it, on Monday. But basically, it's still a 15-man roster. It's just you can have 2 players on 2-way contracts, okay. A little bit like hockey.
In addition to the 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they get paid on a prorated basis up to a certain maximum number of games, Dwight, when they're with the big club. Right. So it's a little bit of the hockey model.
When we talked to Zach, he said he hadn't got a chance to speak with you. Have you talked to him?
No, he talks to you guys first. I did speak to him. So he was excited. He was clearly had a lot of media obligations, back in New York, and got a chance to speak with you guys. And Terry and I got a chance to talk to him, welcome to the team. Obviously, you guys will get to meet him on Monday. Caleb's voicemail was full. The problem is they look at my number, it looks like it's another reporter calling them from 503. So I'll have to get a hold of Rosie Barnes and just make sure we get on the phone whenever I get out of here.
You mentioned that Caleb and Zach bring toughness. Do you think that was something that was missing from the team or is needed?
I don't know that it was missing. I just know that it's a great value add. Just getting guys that I think sometimes you get caught up in something specific. Well, we need a defender, so we just get a defender. And we overlook other things, or we need to get tougher, or we need to get more athletic. And so in this case, I think the toughness is just more from a mindset. I'm not talking about hockey thugs. I'm talking about guys that are mentally tough. When you look at a guy like, you look at a guy like Caleb, what he's been through, how he's transformed himself physically, mentally, what he's done with his game, what he's been through as a person, that kind of toughness. A guy like Zach Collins, who we know is a chippy player, doesn't back down. You guys that cover the WCC because of UOP saw that. The fact that he had to come off the bench. I mean, it shows a lot about the kid that this is a guy that for the first half of the season was basically playing backup, limited minutes, right? And then when push came to shove, and it was time to play with the big boys in the NCAA tournament, you look at his minutes increasing and his impact on the floor increasing, tells me a lot about that kind of kid and that kind of player, that he stayed ready, accepted his role, but was ready to step into a larger role on the biggest stage.
Did that make you at all uncomfortable knowing that, he's a 6th man, he's a bench guy coming off the bench, or when you saw him play, that was enough for you?
That was enough.
Mm-hmm.
That was more than enough.
Seems like he's a pretty confident kid too, just in talking to him. You get
he
that?
Is. I think too, Jake, I think a kid that, played at Bishop Gorman in Vegas, he's not a kid that was at a small school, that was the man and then went to Gonzaga. And this is a guy that was a big-time high school player, right? Played on one of the best high school teams in the country with other NBA players and prospects that have a pipeline of players going to the NBA that had to compete for everything he got. So, I valued that.
Any more questions for Neil?
Anything else? So hopefully we'll see you guys on Monday. Thanks for hanging around, and by the way, I know I don't take care of you guys all the time, but I didn't. Colin wanted to make you wait till the 60th pick was done, and I said, no, I'm going in there. They all need to go home. They don't need to hang here any longer. We're good.
So, by the way,
Yes.
so you didn't buy a second round pick?
We did not. We don't have any money left. That went, actually, the money went in the Nurkic trade to Denver, if you guys remember. So, believe me, it's the only reason Paul's on an airplane right now, because if we had money to spend, it would be burning a hole in his pocket. So, we played a little defense back in February to make sure we only took 2 guys. So all right.
Monday you're bringing Zach and Caleb in?
Yeah, I'm sure Colin will announce it, but the goal is to have a press conference on Monday, introduce them to you guys, and then that way we have a gap to get them home a little bit before coming back for summer league practice.
Great.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank